Org. I had a morning and a half. You might want to mute that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, full stop. I wake up thinking it's like 6 or... thinking it's like 6:30, maybe 7:30, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And... is it? Nope. I take it you're putting the link everywhere links are supposed to be put.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think I got the main places.
Oh good, you got oh good, you got the self promo room. Oh yeah. I overslept this morning. So for context, usually I try to get up at like 7:30, maybe 6:30 on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
But this morning, I wake up, I grab my phone, I turn it on, 7:58.
Oof.
The kids' time to go to school is I have to be out the door by 8, so I just wind sprint through all of that. Whilst trying my best not to panic too hard. I got him to school on time, so that's the important bit.
It says the stream paused on my end. Wait, give me a second. Right.
Yeah, I overslept hard this morning. But that's okay. Everything got out the door on time. No big deal. In my defense, he's not useless. He was up late last night editing because a new episode of Valahar was recorded last night.
Yeah.
And my husband tries to get just a couple days turnaround on those. I entirely believe that if I woke him up and asked him to help, he would be a fantastic help. So anyways, we are drawing a reference sheet for this lad today.
Mm-hmm.
Dragsbroxus is a campaign being done by Jude's player, Kai.
Yep. It is their own homebrewed world, and oh boy, is it
Fun.
incredible. Yeah. Kai has outdone themselves.
Yeah.
Especially with the world building. It is...
Yeah.
Caliente. I will say that this character is a Triton, but he isn't the usual well-known Tritons that you know of.
He is Triton as they are reflected in the world of Dragsbroxus.
Yeah. So they're kind of more fish-like and have fish-like features depending on what type they are. And he is from a very long bloodline of one of the first, I think.
He's your character, not mine.
If I recall correctly.
So, anyways, Samarook is interesting in that, if I recall correctly, he is mute.
Yes, he is mute.
So his head tentacle things, they're pretty chunky, right?
They're fairly chunky, yes.
For context, as a feature, side effect, whatever you want to call it, of Samarook's bloodline, instead of hair or a crest or a frill or something like that, he has head tentacles.
Yes, and before anyone says it, no, it's not those kind of tentacles. It is more the stinging jellyfish tentacles.
What are you playing in the campaign? Me? I'm playing a elf paladin. Not saying anything more beyond that, because people who aren't in the know pay attention to my art streams.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big plot point with them that I don't want to spoil.
Mm-hmm. Hell, I only figured out your thing from a dream, so there you go.
Yeah. Which, by the way, freaked Kai out.
Yep.
And your character has a solid guess, but isn't certain.
Mm-hmm. He's also a bit of a gossip as well, so...
Man's also a bit, how do I put this politely, flamboyant?
Very flamboyant. He often wears these remarkable shirts that just scream.
What do they scream? I am colorblind?
They scream, I am very Taliesin Jaffe.
Ah. Yeah. Okay, so basically I had to draw the head tentacle things like I would try to draw a character with dreadlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of the closest I can get. Which gives us this hair. Looks a little bit funky because of the tentacles that come down to frame the face.
Mm-hmm.
But oh well. We can just say the other
Yeah.
ones are like tucked behind his ears or some shit.
Mm-hmm. He often keeps them up in a bun, usually, just to keep them out of his face, especially when fighting.
Right, because he is a monk, a hand-to-hand fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what his martial art is. Now...
I figured I'd do hair down for this bit.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Freaky Dreams did give us Pirates of Theros. That's interesting. I like that.
But yeah, so... Hey, Kai!
Hey, Kai! You get to see the creation of our wonderful fishy boy.
Our fish boy, who, upon meeting the paladin, turned into an absolute fucking mess. And yes, Kai, of course you can come join us, since this is a campaign you're DMing.
Yeah.
Get
Right.
Kai in here.
Yeah.
Please.
Kai, hold on to your hats. Here it comes.
I think we have a call with Kai, so just drag us all in there.
Hello, Kai.
We have performed the summoning. It might take them a bit.
Hey, Kai.
Hey guys.
The summoning has succeeded. Now, where was I? So yeah, first time Samarook clapped eyes on the paladin, his brain stopped working.
It did.
But yeah, so hi everybody that's watching the stream. It's I, Kai. Y'all have seen me before when we do Dice Sesh streams, but Dragsbroxus is actually one of my campaigns. My first campaign, in fact. And
you're knocking
it
out of the park, by the way.
We're gonna be releasing episodes soon, but it's just been a process.
Editing.
And I can't stay in I can't stay in the call too long, because I do have work in like 40 minutes, but I can at least stay for a bit. Because you're drawing the boy!
Yes! Now, when I say this boy turned into a disaster when talking to the paladin, I mean our paladin is a very pretty young man.
I mean, yes. Doween is a looker, and so is Doween's cousins.
I have
cousins.
I have charisma I have charisma for days, much to the dismay of the poor fishman.
Mm-hmm. Also, fun fact for Doween's cousins, they actually do have a fan club in their,
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, a bunch of young elves who followed them.
I'm not surprised they have a fan club. I am not surprised at all.
Has Mumsy been, just sharing little bits about Samarook?
Not really.
He's shared that the lad's a Triton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that he's not based off of your usual Triton, but more Dragsbroxus version of Triton, where he has certain fishy characteristics.
Instead of just being blue underwater people.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
He's also from a long bloodline family that is probably one of the first, if I remember correctly.
They are from the original strand, because based on the Dragsbroxus lore, which I can get into a little bit, the goddess of time, who is actually called... Hold on, sorry, I have my book.
The notes are being rifled through.
Candilla, the goddess Candilla, she was a goddess of time who, she's basically, one of her the animal she represents is the jellyfish. And according to legend, she got into many battles early on in her mythos, and one of her tentacles was removed from her, and she used that tentacle to create the first Tritons, which is Mumsy's characters descended from. So, yes, Mumsy's bloodline is descended from the original Tritons.
Right. And the reason I've given in the chat for Doween's name, namely that he had a from infancy fascination with stars, is Like, it is one of the reasons Doween was given their name.
Yes.
Well, more like the reason
and-
they picked that name, because elves have that concept of a child name, and then when a person comes of age, they pick their adult name themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Doween's child name was something else that I'll message the DM later, but they did, when they became an adult, pick their own name.
Alrighty.
No, actually, Doween does not translate to Ava or any variant. It actually translates to star, to starlight.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna kind of chuckle to myself at the connection there.
I was looking in a D&D Elven to English dictionary for like fun words to use for a name.
Mm-hmm.
And that one just popped up. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty. That seems easy to say.
Mm-hmm.
That has a nice meaning. Let's go with that.
So, Mumsy, you are allowed to discuss your father if you want, considering
He stepped away
that...
to use the bathroom.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Well,
he ain't there. I'll let him know when he comes back.
He's allowed to mention his dad, since technically you guys already got a glimpse of the dad.
We met the man.
Mm-hmm.
If Doween were present, he would not be impressed. It was like,
Doween wouldn't be impressed.
It's, more from the perspective of your dad sounds like he needs a vacation. Several vacations, in fact.
Well, he is in charge of a civilization that's losing its culture and losing its power.
Right, right. Alrighty, now time for the fun bit. Let's add an extra layer here, jack down the opacity, and start slapping on muscle definition.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the difference here with Tritons is more an appearance difference, because unlike the ones from both Theros and the regular look of Tritons, I wanted to give them a little more flair. So I actually have it to where they're a lot more
fishy.
Fishy. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
which gives really fun design options, because fish folk are very flamboyant. If anyone's wondering why I'm doing Samarook's muscle definition on a lower opacity, that's just so they don't look like hyper defined. Like, Lad doesn't have maxed out strength.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, no, he is not a strong boy. He has been living the life of luxury his whole life. Like, he hasn't even fought anything before.
Well, he's still done martial arts training, so there is muscle on the lad. He just hasn't used it properly.
Yes. Yeah, like that's why he's like not just without any muscle.
He has some, but it's going to be not as defined as on someone like, for example, Doween, who has faced actual combat.
Yes. But I will say that what's interesting about Samarook's situation is that his family wasn't planning on ever having him into combat.
He was learning monk nonsense to be polite, is what you're telling me.
Basically, he was basically just learning the ways of the tradition. His mother is quite religiously opinionated, so she would want him to follow the ways.
Opinionated is a nice word for stubborn. Alright, now I take this boy, our blank sort of line art boy, who we've yet to draw any clothes on. We'll fix that in a
Right.
moment.
Oh yes. And the clothes for Samarook is more towards like Egyptian like feel.
Right.
But also with a sort of medieval twist. So
Right.
basically, you don't have to go full on Egyptian, but he will have jewelry.
Especially
And
given his
a
flamboyance.
headdress. I'm sure Mumsy can help you a bit more with like what he would wear.
Okay, now we come to... Yep. Basically, we have casual attire.
Not exactly like Murdrin. His mom is a little more soft. She can be stubborn when it comes to her duties as a priestess. She's in charge of the religious sect of the kingdom. So she has authority over that domain. And she takes it seriously. She came from a modest livelihood, and, this duty was bestowed upon her based on her marriage to the current king.
Yep. Now, this is going to be 3 outfits. Casual attire, given Samarook's position, formal/business, and training clothes.
Okay.
We're going to start with the training clothes since that's the most simple.
Yes.
We're going to go with a simple vest. I need to turn my stabilizer on for this.
Just so you know, Simon, there's no mention of anything like Theros in my homebrew. So any sort of similarities is more of a coincidence. Everybody's made different characters, different backstories.
Yeah. Daween is very different from Ava.
Daween is precious, and I'm so sorry for what I have planned.
It's okay. Whenever I make D&D characters, I make them expecting them to be emotionally damaged.
Well, I did make you all cry this week.
Yes, you did. Did not expect that, but nice.
Also, it was just funny seeing you write in the after chefs, "We're going to kill a man."
Yeah, pretty much.
And I was like, ha, he's already dead.
That's fine. We're still gonna want to burn the body, just to make sure he doesn't come back.
Make sure a necromancer doesn't take his body.
Yeah, make sure the sicko doesn't come back. Let's just do a transform, deform.
Yeah.
There we go. What did Kai do? I'm not at liberty to say what Kai did.
I mean, you'll find out. The latest episode got corrupted, so we're gonna have to do more of a walkthrough of what happened, a recap of what happened. But the campaign should be coming out soon. Now, if you don't have the patience for that, then I will just preface this for anybody who decides to watch that. Yes, there are spoilers coming right now.
And things are pretty dark.
Simon.
And things are pretty dark, so if...
Yeah, trigger warning.
For days. Just all of them.
For days.
Not as many as you'd have to do if you ran Curse of Strahd, but... Whew.
as far as you know.
Not as many for that particular episode as we'd have to do if we were running Curse of Strahd.
Right.
Like, basically,
Well-
I'm thinking what to do for Samarook's training clothes is vest, open a little bit, cut shorts or cut off pants, and maybe some hand wrappings.
Oh yes, especially hand wrappings.
I am back.
Awesome.
All right, I was giving you permission to talk about your parents since they were mentioned this episode. And I know Susan's not going to use it for metagaming or anything. So if you want to discuss
by the time
Samarook's-
Dragsbroxus comes around again, I'm gonna forget!
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Because I have the
So
memory of
if
a
you-
goldfish!
if you'd like to give like a short little summary of at least the information that is allowed to be known, go ahead, Mums. You have my blessing.
So his father is the leader of his people back in Scale. He is a very devout and God-fearing individual who believes that the old ways are the only way that we're going to survive. And his mother is a very sensitive and somewhat
She's got an alcohol problem.
yeah she takes things very hard and often resorts to drink as a way to cope with it.
Mhm.
And his dad is I would say his dad is maybe a bit more paranoid than he would like to admit.
Oh yeah.
He
Your father sees all his actions as justified. He doesn't think he's paranoid.
and yeah, there is a rift between him and his father, but over the years he has tried to sort of repair it by just being with him and just trying to please him at any given point that he could.
Kind of hard to do now
Yes.
because of how things went.
Mhm. How things went, but also now that he's in a different country, he can't just be like, "Hey, Dad, look what I've done."
Yeah, I'm gonna say don't mention why you were sent to Mapleshire,
No.
but you could still like discuss, the tension between, your parents and you, as well as your siblings. Not that you had any like fights with any of your siblings that you're aware of, but he's actually. Then we say you are the
Youngest.
like maybe like you're the youngest. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Youngest of six.
Yeah, of 6 brothers, and you do have one sister as well, but.
That house must be just rocking and rolling.
Yep.
Well, his dad, being the paranoid man that he is, he was like, I need to have heirs, as many heirs as possible in case anything goes wrong. Like what happened to Samarook, which was revealed this latest episode.
Part of it, at least, yeah.
Is this him? I'm drawing it this way because drawing things wrapped around a hand is complicated.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I was telling Susan how your appearance is very Egyptian-like, but also, it's like a mix of medieval and Egyptian.
Yeah.
So lots of jewelry, lots of fabric.
Yeah.
But yet, things aren't going well for Scale as a country.
No.
They used to be a mighty empire, and now they're just a small settlement in the desert.
And then they used to be a mighty and powerful empire, and then shit happened. Basically, to give you context, Mums, what I'm drawing right now is what Samarook usually wears to train or spar.
Yeah.
Simon is going to be released soon. I just don't know how soon. But it's going to be on my personal channel.
Yep.
Kyan does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually wondering if I should just make a Dragsbroxus channel, just because.
That
You
might be
know.
good to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might actually just make a Dragsbroxus channel, but if you want updates on when it'll come out, you can just follow me on Kai the Nightly on Twitter, if you don't already. Because I will update everyone when the first episode releases. But I'm going to try to get it out, I think, this upcoming week or two. I just have been waiting to stockpile a few episodes in recording.
Yeah. Now, the wrappings aren't quite symmetrical, but because Samarook isn't a robot, they're not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, Samarook's kind of lazy, and
He is.
so I doubt that he like his mother probably was teaching him, "Hey, this is how you wrap your arms," and he was like, yeah, I'm listening."
Was totally not listening.
I'm listening.
Mhm.
Rippling muscles. Wait, what? Sorry, mother. What was
Well,
that?
he was distracted by his boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, look at my boyfriend."
Alright, yeah, because Samarook is a fucking disaster.
Oh yes.
He forgot how to speak coherently when all Doween did was smile and say good morning.
Sign, if anything. It was a.
Cute poor Doween just going like, is he okay? Like, do I need to find him help?
Samarook's fine for now. He hasn't, like, the few hardships that he's gone through, it's past trauma, and he doesn't like to think about it.
No, he really doesn't.
Oh, but sometimes the past comes to haunt you.
It does. It does. Especially certain similarities.
Oh yes, Simon, tell us about the deity you made for Theros.
Yes.
We would love to hear it. Okay, I got my keys.
Yeah, no, I also said to Susan that he's probably going to be like a darker purple based on where he's from.
And what his line is descended from.
Yeah.
The goddess herself is purple.
Yeah. So. He's just a darker purple because of the constant ravages of sun.
Also, we'll say, like, your mother also was a different shade.
Because he's a bit on the lackadaisical side, he probably didn't also wrap his feet.
Yeah.
It's here's how you wrap your feet so it doesn't hurt when you kick something. Yes, mother.
Samarook really does care for his mother. Not that he doesn't care for his father, but him and his father have always butted heads.
Yeah.
And he's too respectful of his dad to ever, like,
say anything. Let's take for his
at least until a certain day.
Until
that we are not discussing.
Yeah, let's take for his formal or work clothes. Let's take a bottom piece of clothing inspired by ancient Egypt and a top piece that's more medieval Europe type tunic.
I love it.
I'll probably be leaving in a few minutes.
Okie doke.
Let's say the tunic goes to about there because he needs his hands
Guys?
free. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so a reason Samarook needs his hands free and kind of unobstructed is that he is mute.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So he needs to have his hands unobscured so he can sign effectively. Unobscured. I mean unobstructed. I can't speak coherently.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for
I said
Samarook,
feet!
sign language.
I wasn't going to say anything.
All of my
But yeah. Oh, that's a pretty name for her.
yeah,
Simon.
it's a lovely name.
But yeah, Samarook's quite interesting as a monarch because he was so young. When he was growing up, he didn't really expect to be put in any sort of position
He's the
of
sixth.
power.
He's the sixth. He is
Yeah.
the spare several times over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it works differently in his country. The heir is chosen by Candilla.
Mm-hmm.
And she picked him. You just gotta go, wait, what?
Not that he really understood that she picked him for a while. We'll say that much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Right. I mean, there were signs, but the physical manifestation came later.
Mm-hmm.
and for his casual attire. So this is what I was thinking for his like. There's gonna be a bit more detail in it, but this is gonna be like his sort of work clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Because based on what I've seen for like ancient Egypt type clothes, for a bottom piece for the dudes, it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do know that Samarook does wear at least some, earrings and necklaces from his home.
Ears are obscured, but I can add some jewelry.
Yes.
I imagine the necklaces and such come off for training time unless he's just dumb.
No, yeah, they come off for training, so you don't have to draw it on the training.
And he has a very similar outfit for work, for his casual attire, as he does for his work clothes.
But I think for his casual at this moment, I think he would have like a scarf on because chilly.
Because he is from a desert, and here it is cold.
Oh yeah, your scarf's gonna totally help you.
Considering the fact that his regular method of prayer involves courting I just thought of something.
What?
What's stopping him from just smashing a hole in the ice and filling a bathtub with the salt water and then just dunking in that?
He has never.
He hasn't thought of it.
My God, I know he's a perfectly intelligent and capable young man, but good God, he's dumb.
He is also 26, okay? He hasn't hit the wisdom years yet.
That's older than me!
Not really.
I mean, me as a person, Doween's pushing 100, but that's besides the point.
But yeah,
Besides, 100 is just elf speak for 20 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will say that Samarook wasn't the first heir.
No.
But we're not going to get into details as to why.
We're not going to get it. We're not going to get into what happened with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Samarook really knows what happened to the other one anyway.
No, it was never told to him. In fact, because he got the mark so young, he probably just assumed that he was the heir for the whole time.
He just assumed he was the first instead of the spare.
Well, he knew he was the youngest. He just never expected to. He just
Okay, so
boom.
He just thought that the mark didn't appear for a while because, you know, there have been instances where it doesn't instantaneously transfer.
Yeah. From generation to generation.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Samarook took this mission a lot harder than I thought he would, because then I was like, oh shoot, it connects to that time when he was abducted.
Yeah.
just
for his bloodline.
We have poked a nerve. Hey, we might get to see him.
You can talk about your abduction, mums, if you'd like.
Okay. So when Samarook was, say, 3 or 4, he was picked up by a group of people that came to his house, grabbed him, and ran. He doesn't know how long they were running for, with him in a bag. All he knows is when he woke up, he was in a cage with a drow child, and he prayed and prayed for someone to come and help him. And then something happened. Something that I'm not going to specifically say exactly what happened.
You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but they escaped and they were transported a couple of miles away and were found by either his father's men or found by his mother. I can't remember which one of those two said it was.
He was found by some of his brothers.
Some of his brothers. And he then took Tiffany, his
New friend.
drow friend, his new friend in, and she became I want to say, helper of her mother when she was at the monastery.
All right, well, sorry I can't stay for the whole stream, guys, but I have made it to work, so I have to leave.
It's okay.
That's fine.
It was great.
Have a good day
It was great to talk to you.
Yep. Have fun.
Will do. Bye.
So, permission to go with the idea that Samarook is wearing like a vest and then a longer sleeved tunic under it?
Yes.
It was just like he has discovered layers.
Yeah. I will say, I think in the training one, you'd probably be able to see his mark.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna be. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be. That's where I'm gonna be putting it. And the vest is buttoned up, so there's just a line here right up the center of him.
There is an interesting origin story to his people. I don't know if Kai mentioned it. But basically, the goddess of time got into a quarrel with one of her sons over something. And we're not sure if my father believes that the son in question attacked his mother and she lost a tentacle.
And from that came the Triton.
Yes, the first Triton, who also bore a mark, being one of her chosen sons after her rebellious son was disowned by her and she decided to acquire a new son, a mortal son. That son being the first Triton.
It's like my previous one was a mistake. I'll make a new one.
Basically, it was one of those, damn it, I've now got another son.
What do I do with it?
I will see if this one's less rebellious than the others. Basically.
Right. In all of these outfits, Samarook's hands are always very sort of unrestricted, and that is due to the fact that he has to use sign to communicate.
Mm-hmm. No point when you're fighting, really. There's no point in fighting and talking at the same time.
Yeah. I can just imagine him, like, punching with one hand and signing with another.
Just being like, so how are you doing today? How's your other hand? I'm going to swap in any second now. So...
Okay. So the way I'm gonna do... So this thing starts right about here.
Mm-hmm. And it goes down to his elbow, I would say.
Okay.
Where the severed end would be, that's up to you.
So it comes... I'm gonna say the severed end is... permission to say it kind of snakes across his body a little bit and starts right over his heart.
Yes. Perfect. I will say, though, when it first manifested, there was a bit of a rift between his parents.
Right. Makes sense.
But that's all I'm going to say about the situation.
Comes out. Wraps around the bicep.
What is Sanji's style of fighting exactly?
He kicks things to death.
He kind of uses his fists more. Well, technically his open palms. He kind of uses... I think when we were talking about it, I accidentally called it Wrath of the Tentacled Fist. And I remember I said it and I heard this giggle and I thought, yeah, no.
Okay, so what do you think of this sort of design for it?
Beautiful.
Like it just wraps around.
Yes. Perfect.
Around, and then stops.
Mm-hmm. The mark does have a use. The only thing is, Samarook has never really...
Does it have a use? Yes. Does he know about it? No.
No.
There we go. Now I'm gonna start, weirdly, back over here with his casual clothes. Ugh, my line's too thick. Just right.
I will say, after everything that happened with his parents, he basically spent half the year with his father, going with him for a religious...
Prince shit.
Yeah. Religious pilgrimages and just general devotion to the old gods. And then the other half he spent taking care of his mother at the monastery.
How much do you... Okay, so first up, you wouldn't be using gold pieces for produce. You would be using copper or at most silver.
Mm-hmm. It depends on how limited the supply is.
Yes, it depends on your region. If this is in the wintertide, then maybe you could get some silver. Maybe you could get a couple silver pieces for it because it's wintertime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And speaking as somebody who has owned a garden, cabbages and frost don't exactly see eye to eye.
Oh, they really don't. But then again, they don't work well with caterpillars either. And let me tell you now, the amount of times my granddad would moan and groan about caterpillars. Oh boy.
My granddad, my father's father, didn't really complain much about his garden, although there was that one incident with the woodchuck. So, for context, my granddad is red-blue colorblind.
Right.
My granddad also owns a shotgun for hunting purposes.
Mm-hmm.
For that particular type of firearm, there were two types of ammunition he owned.
Mm-hmm.
Buck slugs,
Oh, yeah.
which is essentially a chunk of metal about the size of your thumb,
Yeah.
and varmint shot, which is essentially little itty bitty ball bearings.
Yeah. For the smaller foes. Like squirrels.
So, one day, now there had been this woodchuck that was being the bane of my grandfather's, I think it was his lettuce or something like that.
Mhm.
And he saw it out and about one day and decided, you know what? Enough's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Grabs the shotgun, grabs some of the ammunition, which was being kept in color-coded coffee cans.
Color-coded coffee cans.
Like,
Oh boy.
like one color in one coffee can, one color in the other.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, one buck slug had made it into the varmint shot can. The woodchuck wasn't a the woodchuck no longer existed.
It was just a red paste.
It was gone. The cabbage it was chewing on when my grandfather fired was gone.
Oh no!
And the best bit was, he seemed rather nonplussed by it, just, whoops.
Oh damn, I better shake these cans. Oh no!
Goes to a member of the family with normal color vision. Help. To be fair, this man was also like 3/4 deaf and had this nasty habit of turning his hearing aid off.
Oh no!
Namely, whenever somebody he didn't want to listen to was talking.
He's like, weep.
This did once almost do him in by accident.
What did he nearly get run over by?
No, actually, he didn't nearly get run over by anything.
Oh, thank God.
So, he went to his doctor one day,
Mm-hmm.
and his doctor said, for a man of your age, he served in Korea, and is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow. And they told him, you're in great health for a man of your age, however, we'd like it if you could maybe start trying a low-sodium diet.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who turned his hearing aid off? And heard no instead of low. Turns out, if you ingest no sodium at all, your blood pressure goes right down the drain and you collapse a lot.
Yeah, that's that.
Scared the bejesus out of my dad, let me tell you.
I could just imagine.
Because around this time, his wife, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, was starting to suffer really badly from vertigo.
Oh, yeah, no, fair.
And one of the things with that was that sometimes she'd just get so dizzy she'd fall down.
Yeah.
So he's freaking out, takes him to the hospital. Doctor goes, he's fine. His sodium is just way lower than we want it to be. Here, just eat the salt. Just lick the salt until you feel better.
Yeah. Just quickly doing a Jeffrey. Blem.
But yeah, I do find it hilarious that when Doween started signing as he spoke, when he saw the signing, he honestly assumed that Samarook was deaf.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, just in case he lip reads more comfortably instead of signing, I'll talk at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I can bet money 90% of his thoughts was, wow, hi, you're pretty.
Nah, what it was literally, he didn't hear anything that Doween was saying, but was looking at the hands and was just like, wow, they talk ridiculously fast. Oh my word. They are so hot.
Because, as a paladin should, Doween has charisma for days. Basically, he pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, he looks just like his male cousin who's on the council.
That's fair. That's interesting.
Like, they could be siblings instead of cousins.
Mm.
If anybody comments on it, Doween's just like, no. He blew up. Blew up is a nice word. I think what we're looking here more is disintegrated.
Yeah, he kind of left a little foot where it used to be. It just fell over.
No, there was no sign of the woodchuck or the cabbage or lettuce or whatever it was. Just gone.
Ping!
Afterward, he no longer had a woodchuck problem.
Well, yeah, no, I figured. Yeah, no, my granddad had a very interesting garden because literally behind it, there's this is going to sound ridiculously weird, but there's basically like this really small gate at the bottom of the garden. It's like down a few little steps. And behind that is a 70-foot drop into a stream.
Just ploop.
Yes.
Well, little Timmy's going for a swim.
I don't know why it is there exactly, but what would happen is my granddad will be sort of sitting there watching watching the flowers and whatnot, which my nan loved the fact that my granddad became a gardener because of the fact she could buy all these orchids, and he'd be like, another one for the garden. And she's like, yay!
Well, to be fair, the right species of orchid are really very sturdy.
Oh yeah, they are. And to be fair, he has the most loveliest garden. I don't know what it's. Haven't really looked at it much these days, but it was always very beautiful. And I remember one day, I think it was in the summer, and we're just sitting there, and we look down and we see the gate open from the outside in, which is very unusual, meaning that it was actually coming from the streamward towards us.
Cue this extremely bedraggled man.
Nope. A very, very wet fox. just looks at us, realizes he's made a very terrible mistake, looks down at the massive the stream below him, 70 foot down, looked at us again, looked at the stream again, and then went, nah, and then he ran across the garden and jumped over the fence. I'll take my chances next door. My granddad was just sitting there going,
for the sake
don't
of
see that every day.
simplicity, yeah, for the sake of simplicity, let's assume it's wintertime somewhere where cabbage doesn't grow very easily. Let's put it
Mhm.
at 8 copper a head.
Yeah. $2 silver for a
Pound.
pound, yeah.
Talking about units of measure with Unicall is a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and of course, with poor Doween, he's just like, this person seems nice. I'm gonna keep talking to them.
Keeps talking to him. I could listen to your beautiful words all day. Fuck, I'm supposed to be watching the hands.
Well, the thing is, Samarook's just mute, not deaf.
Yeah, that's true. But he was also trying to figure out why they're able to sign so quickly.
Because they were signing at rate of speech.
Yeah, which never happens for Samarook. Samarook isn't long been mute. He wasn't always mute.
Samarook is probably used to people signing at the pace of a snail.
And barely any sort of nuance or eloquence in their signing. So
To have
very
somebody
pretty elf. Yeah.
To have somebody who's signing almost like it's second nature to them.
Mm.
Cue
And the
him
fact that-
asking why and Doween having to pull something out of his ass.
Yeah. Well, it was more on the lines of the only other person he's ever seen sign that quickly besides himself is a drow his drow friend Thani, who taught him how to sign in the first place. So
Yeah.
it just took him by surprise that another elf
So he's like,
could do it this well.
Cue him asking Tiffany, is that normal?
Yeah, he did. He asked her the night that night, hey, is it just a drow thing or is it like an other elf thing? Because I met an elf today, a very pretty elf. Oh my god. His eyes did shine. But his signs were just so beautiful. Did you keep it together, Samarook? Oh, I panicked like a little lamb. I panicked so hard.
I just thought of something that would just slowly. I just thought of something that would just kill poor Samarook.
Mm.
If they have to sneak into a place and Dowin looks at him and goes, okay, play it cool, okay? I have a plan.
Samarook's just like,
How good are you at drag?
Oh, honey. You ask? I am a brilliant actor.
Stuffs him in a dress, and who is this? Just Dowin, who originally had a very different plan, but then panicked. This is my spouse. Samarook, dead.
Samarook. If only.
If the two are ever in like a private conversation, it's just like, so I have to ask a question.
He's like,
You're into dudes, aren't you? I ask because you give off the same vibe as my dad's.
Literally as Doween
And
would say that.
And he says it with just all of the like, how's the weather?
Yeah. He's just like, Samarook would be like, Oh, you got. Okay, okay. So I don't have to hide from you. Okay, yeah, Darwin. I don't think you were hiding very well, but okay, yeah.
Darwin, you're about as subtle as a fireworks display, but all right then.
Stop it, you slay me. Which is, by the way, his catchphrase.
Meanwhile, in Darwin's head, it's just like, God, hi, help me.
Samarook, I'm chatting to a man who is so hot that it's practically making me sweat. Help me, goddess. Play it cool.
And Darwin's just like, just like, help me not do anything dumb. I fully acknowledge that I will probably do something very, very dumb, but, oh well. Yeah, meanwhile, you have. And just.
Hey, Felix!
Hey, buddy! And meanwhile, we have. And since Felix is in the campaign, we can talk a little bit about his character, who is Samarook's minder.
Bodyguard, I think, is his actual title.
He's more a minder.
Bodyguard.
He'd probably call himself a minder.
Maybe. Or his physical leash.
It's like, I make sure you behave yourself.
And don't cause a nuisance for the town. What? I'm not a nuisance. You spent 4 hours yesterday gossiping about nothing. I'm sorry.
That's only if when GP is 100. So here's how the way I've read it, currency exchange works in D&D. 10 copper to a silver.
Mm-hmm.
10 silvers to a gold, and 10 golds to a platinum.
Mm-hmm. And Electrum is which one exactly?
I think you don't see Electrum enough outside of Dragon Hordes for there to be a listed exchange rate, I don't think.
It really depends on place to place, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I will say this, a lot of the reason platinum pieces aren't seen very often is
they're so difficult to make.
Yeah, basically. Just erase.
I will never forget the day that the very first DM that I had.
What did you do to them?
I didn't do anything to them. So I found a secret room in one of the dungeons. I was the only one who found it. I rolled high enough to find it. And this is basically where my character's luck kind of skyrocketed. And let's just say we found a hoard of platinum that someone had been sort of hoarding away. The only problem was that the DM basically wrote down a number and didn't check how much he'd given. He thought that he put like about 20 platinum pieces there. When he looked at the number and said it out loud, and they went, "Hang on, wait a minute. We were already going, well, you've already said it now. We're going to take this." And he goes, "Okay, that's fine.
No take backsies."
Because he just turned around and he goes, 20,000 platinum pieces. Wait, what?
I think I think what he was trying to say was 20 platinum pieces worth X amount of gold pieces.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And
because the thing is, my players don't usually encounter dragons. When they do, the poor dragons make utter fools of themselves.
Yeah, no, our dragon was resurrected and no longer wanted gold. It just wanted to cause pain.
Ah,
So it left
necro
its hoard.
dragon.
Yeah, it left its hoard behind. And we happened to find it, basically. And we also found the necromancer's sex dungeon with the zombies that he was resurrecting. That was an interesting find as well.
But
But
when I heard you say it, I'm like, the necromancers, what?
yeah, the worst thing is the necromancer in question was actually my father.
So you got to learn things about dear old dad you didn't want to know.
I didn't know he was alive.
Oh. That doesn't make it any better.
No. It was very much a Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader moment.
Ah.
Let's just say that much. Did you have any of my quirks? I got a thing for humanoid tails. Ah, you're just like me then. No, I'm not. I like living things, not dead things, you creep.
That's just a...
Yeah, let's just say our DM grossed us out for 20 minutes when he was talking about how we caught him at one point snogging a zombie.
Ew.
Mm.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew, 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 ew. Just ew. That's a put that back where it came from, or so help me.
Yeah. This is the moment where Felix goes, wait, what the fuck?
Assuming he hasn't pieced out.
Yeah, that's true. I hope his internet improves, because I feel bad for him.
Well, it seems to have been clicking on all cylinders last night for Valahar. I know that because when his internet goes out, he usually texts me to gripe about it.
Ah, that's fair.
Oh, and so I've learned a bit more about Ava's parents.
Oh, okay.
Ava's mum very much is just sort of like, sweetheart, just go along with what your father says to make him happy.
Please, because I have to deal with it.
Because if you don't, then I have to deal with it.
And there's only so much that I can hear the words, why is our daughter so stubborn? Before I go, yes, honey, why is our daughter so stubborn? It's not as if you and her are so very
Ava is a lot like her father. In some ways, that's a good thing.
In others, it's like, good God, man.
And her dad, meanwhile, was just like, in his head, was just like, have daughters, they said.
They're easier, they said. They're not as rambunctious and naughty as boys, they said. Tell that to my poor tree and my potted plant. Because my tree has got bits of dress that we've never been able to figure out how to get out of the tree. And one of our antique plant pots that's been in the family for generations was smashed by a 3-year-old.
Meanwhile, Ava's just like, hi.
Ava's just like, wee.
Him and Annex talking, I have a daughter. That's nice. What's she like? You. Oh.
What does that mean?
Later, Annex meets the child. Oh, that's what he meant.
Later meets the child, joins in on their antics. Now you see!
Pretty sure she thought something. And the weird thing is, there was an omen on the day Ava was born, but nobody made any note of it. Basically, on the day she was born, at dawn, the sky turned red.
Oh.
Which is actually a bad omen for Heliod.
Oh, that explains some things with the Daxos vision then.
But because it wasn't a Heliod-centric omen, her parents just forgot about it. Just went, weather's doing weird shit.
Mm.
Who cares? We have a kid.
Spyro's was a little bit more symbolic.
Spyro's and Nyxborn, of the variety where he wasn't exactly born, he just kind of got made.
So the night that he was
made,
basically,
and plopped just unknowing onto the surface of Theros.
6 wings sprouted from the moon and they descended the earth.
And they turned
as a sign of Iroas.
And they turned into his directionally challenged, anxiety-addled, daddy issues both ways son.
You put him so eloquently.
Am I wrong?
Never wrong. Always right.
Yeah, and it's not really that Ava lost something. It's more like she saw how... Okay, so a Crowan culture regarding the art of war is very egalitarian.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can participate in the arts of war regardless of sex.
Yeah.
Ava, much to her father's deep, just like, now! Took that up because, well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of fights on the subject. Huh. Roads are going to the home of the war priest and historian. It's something, probably.
We had a child. Aww, that's sweet. Why is he slamming her head against that wall? We don't know. He's been doing it since he came out.
And could move on his own.
His first words were bang bang.
Hey, my mom once had to explain to a babysitter that why... So, my mom used to do this thing because it made me laugh hysterically as a baby, where she'd very, very gently just sort of like touch her forehead to mine and just go, bonk! Just very, very gently and everything because, squishy infant.
Yeah.
So, one day, once I was like able to interact with the world a bit better, my mom then had to explain to a babysitter why I was beating my head against a mirror and laughing hysterically. Yeah, my poor mum had to explain a lot of weird things to people about me. Why did your daughter hiss when asked what noise does a cat make? She lives with a very badly tempered cat. Fair enough.
With me, my mum used to do sort of Eskimo kisses with me, and it used to make me giggle.
When you're a little bitty baby, everything makes you giggle.
And then I started teething, and she couldn't do it anymore because of the constant nosebleeds.
Because you'd bite her on the nose.
Yeah, I would bite hard. I'd go, but here's the thing: I had 2 front teeth, and then I had the 2 canines come through.
Little vampire child.
I was a vampire child. So one day, my mum said that we had a babysitter come over, and
did you bite the babysitter?
No. My mum had to explain when I smiled in their direction and they saw blood on my canines and like these 2 little puncture marks on the end of her nose, and she's like, "Oh no, he isn't what you He is just a child.
That is teething.
He is teething, and his teeth came through very weirdly.
Hey, my teeth came through canines first too.
It's weird. And my mum said that my canines and my 2 front teeth met.
I would not be surprised if Ava's dad did blame Anax for how Ava is. Not that he'd get any answers, because Anax is in the fucking wind.
I'm kind of sick of my relatives blaming me for their daughter being adorable. I'm going. I'm away.
Now we're just gonna merge these 2 layers.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that layer.
Pardon me.
All of these ones. This one. And bring in these.
It's up to you which one of the purples you want to put on.
Let's go with so the one with the asterisk is often mentioned as the base color.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least on the palette reference I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the asterisk next to it is the base color.
Yeah.
So let's just drag this into here. Bucket. Flip. 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 Flip.
The reason why he's so dark, if
Flip.
anyone wants to know, is because he was basically raised in a desert. So his skin is a little bit less light than maybe his father's skin color.
And also
maybe
his
a
mum is
few of
pretty
his
dark,
brothers.
if I recall you saying
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah. And they were kind of like, it was kind of like an arranged marriage as well, basically.
If your little guy met Ava as a child, there would very much be I have a new friend! Oh god, she's a gremlin.
Where did she go? Why is she on that roof of that building? Not again!
She's just like, look at me, Daddy!
Daddy, are you proud? No! Get down before you hurt yourself. Look at what I can do! Starts doing like these little balancing acts.
While her father just increasingly has an aneurysm.
Yep. With your mother going, oh, kids will be kids. Kids will be kids!
Darling, why are you screeching like that?
Why is our daughter on the roof of the conservatory? I don't know!
Oh my word.
How did she get up there? I don't know! I turned for 3 seconds and got there! She got up there quick! Good grief! Alex is just...
Later, how did you get up there, sweetie? Uncle taught me how. Points at Alex.
Alex!
With just the innocence of a child. What do you think of this for a good color?
Oh, beautiful.
This is just the flats.
Beautiful.
It'll look it'll be more striking once I get the full colors in.
I think the weird thing about jellyfish, though, is when you look at them under certain spectrums of light, it's kind of like they have like these particles in their tentacles.
Yeah, that's the pneumatocysts.
Yeah, that kind of reflect the light in a weird way. So it kind of looks like you got like bits of
something.
Bits of sunlight just sort of trapped inside them.
Yeah, but anyways, if your little child character met child Ava, it would definitely just be oh, she's made a friend. Maybe it'll settle her down a bit. Nope, it made her worse.
Honey, you're a little bit hyper. What happened? Friend gave me chocolate! Chocolate!
Oh no. Meow. Darling, what was that blur? Our daughter. Oh no.
What happened to her? Sugar! It was sugar! Honey, you need to calm down. You're gonna have an aneurysm.
Meanwhile, child Ava's just fuming around the place going, wee!
Annex decides to babysit her for the day. She was no trouble at all. You mean you didn't have to deal with the conservatory and the tree and the wee? And he goes, no, I joined in. Oh, of course you did. She was safe as houses.
Yeah, for all things, for all the contentiousness of their relationship, Ava's dad does very much love and care about his daughter. It's why he does a lot of the things he does.
Yeah.
Ava just happens to not agree with a lot of her father's choices.
Or at least she might agree with him if he'd actually let her in on why.
It's like, why does my father make the choices he makes? I don't know. I'm kept out of the loop and I don't like it.
I will say, from what I've heard of our great and birther, creator of our leader, he's probably in denial that he's now got a grown woman as a child.
He's in denial that his daughter's grown the heck up.
Yeah. I think you missed a small bit of the tentacle.
I'll get back to that.
I only noticed it just as you zoomed in. I was like, oh.
But
Oh yeah, and another thing, Samarook is married.
Not happily, though.
Well, he is happy, but he's happy, but not for the reason normally be happy if you were married. He's happy that she's putting up with them to give him a place to live, basically.
Thank you for putting up with my nonsense.
Not that everything is perfect, exactly. Especially since his best friend is under house arrest. Which he really doesn't know how to feel about.
Well,
especially
given some things he might find out, he might be able to get a different perspective on it.
It's not that he doesn't understand why she's done it and put him under house arrest. It's more on the lines of he just doesn't want Tiffany to be basically perceived that way when all Samarook has done is just vouch for them the entire time.
Right. Basically, Doween's perspective is just like, there's entirely the chance that it's for her safety, not everyone else's.
Do you know what? That's probably what it is, but Samarook just
doesn't see that.
No.
Cue Doween explaining, look, you know she's a good person. Your wife can guess she's a good person. Is the average person who claps eyes on her going to think about it that long?
Mm.
Or are they just going to go, oh no, a drow. Because, to make things worse, Mapleshire has been under drow attack before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Odds are Tiffany is under house arrest, not for the safety of the townsfolk, but for her own safety.
There's even a few things the wife doesn't know about Tiffany.
Makes sense. I mean, she's a fairly recent arrival to the household.
No, she came down with Samarook.
And Samarook's been here, what, 6 months?
Yeah, roundabout, yeah.
That's still very new to a house.
Yeah, that's true. And Samarook basically got her a job as a maid in his household. So then she could still at least be close to him.
Yeah, and
But not...
to be fair, depending on where she sits in the maid hierarchy, that might actually be a very good job, because especially because like a lady's maid or something like that is actually in the hierarchy of maiddom fairly prestigious. Because you're interacting directly with the managers of the household day to day.
Yeah.
How do I know this? I Google weird shit for books I want to write someday.
That's fair.
I am probably on a list somewhere.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had a work colleague who very proudly and abruptly one random Saturday evening asked me if I wanted to know where a certain word came from in the English language, which so happened to be from a rich household, and the word in question was blowjob. So there you go.
Your friend is weird.
Colleague, yeah. Do you want to know what their name was?
You're going to tell me anyway, so let's just rip off the band-aid.
Jan Winning.
Oh. But yeah, Doween does have kind of a different perspective on things due to things I'm not technically at liberty to discuss because there's people in the campaign in the stream chat.
Yes.
But Doween does have a different perspective that I think will help Samarook be more okay with Tiffany's position. It's like, she hasn't looked. Your friend's not under house arrest for the safety of everybody else. She's under house arrest for the safety of herself.
Yeah. And she's a very pretty girl.
Yep.
As well.
Which is why, when poor Doween clapped eyes on her, his brain just seems to stop for a good 30 seconds. There's like, Herc! Hi.
Yeah, because she did come barging in, which was hilarious.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there like, hi.
And Samarook's just like, Tiffany, don't worry too much. It's absolutely fine. And Darwin's just sitting there, excuse-y, wait, what? What is this?
Well, it also gives him a little bit of hope for, again, things I'm not technically allowed to discuss. But things that you know about a little bit, I think. Yeah. At least there's anarchy, Granny.
Yeah! Jean! Everyone loves Jin is a turtle who basically is in her 40s, and in total lifespans, she's near the end.
That's almost dead.
Yeah. She's basically that senile 89 hear about on the news that did something ridiculous, but for the right reasons.
For example, busted out of the nursing home, jacked a car, and went to McFood.
Turning to her friends, fuck, it's the Popo!
And then you have poor Doween, who's just like, I'm somehow in charge of all of this.
Mm.
I don't know how. I don't know why, but here I am.
One thing I will say, Jin may be very wise, a little bit reckless at times, from what I can tell.
Wisdom and caution are not synonymous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Jin gives the best hugs. My character has confirmed this.
The man broke down and cried.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he was having a very emotionally fragile day.
Yeah, and plus he was under a zone of truth spell as well, so he couldn't exactly hide his feelings.
Yeah. Since Doween's a paladin, he's going to get access to that spell eventually, and boy howdy is that going to come in handy for him.
Oh, for a second then I thought it was to interrogate Samarook.
No, not. Is she Crow's character? Yup.
Of course she's Crow's character. Imagine Gothy, but with a tortoise shell, and you basically got it.
Pre-alleviation of senility.
Yeah.
Because, from what I've been told, she does get less cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, when they jab a crystal in her.
It's like, all better.
They basically powered her up and gave her another 700 years of life.
So Gothy was permanently on, like, low battery mode.
Yeah, that was basically the explanation for it. But the funny thing is the fact that she turned into a 6'7" Amazonian druid lady.
With no fucks left to give.
Yeah. And a leader, and basically became the leader of the group.
And their token adult.
Though the parts of senile Gothy are kind of like erased from their memory, but certain parts kind of stuck with them. Wait, I had like 24 geese at one point, and I turned a goblin into mush. Yeah, basically, you did. You gave him a potion and realised you forgot the nutmeg. Needs more nutmeg.
Yeah, that's just a... Ooh.
But Jin. Why do they have to begin with G? Jin also walks around with a mushroom called Reginald, which is basically the best sentence I have ever heard in my life. Love you, Crow. That was just beautiful. Yeah, she is a wonderful character, and she's by far one of my favorite characters. Especially since she's also kind of adopted a slime. And it's kind of interesting. Yeah, she's kind of adopted a slime, which is interesting, kind of from one of my other characters being Spyro, and having adopted Jude.
Like a sapient slime.
Yeah. Sort of seeing it from a different point of view is quite interesting.
It's like
being in a party.
It's like you adopted a sapient Jello.
Why? I kind of see why everyone was... So Spyro's a satyr who's sparkly and an epileptic seizure waiting to happen, and he decides to
adopt a robot.
He adopts a robot, which is the most reflective robot on the planet. So even if you weren't in ice, Spyro, he's glaring into your eyes at any moment if he's next to Jude.
Oh dear, old Gothy. I can see what's going to happen. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But we're not too sure if Jin is a potions master, because that's basically what Gothi's role was. Gothi's role was basically the healer / I make the potions. Which in the Billowing Wilds, they've actually created a system for potion making, which gives you 1 million recipes.
Right. Crow back to that Kickstarter. So so when it comes out, he's gonna get it.
Oh, I can tell you now, me and Crow backed it, so we are getting it in September this year.
Awesome. Speaking
Yep.
of things that got backed that are coming out this year, our sponsor, Dead Tree Studios, has their latest tabletop game, Dames of Astoria, coming out in August.
Nice.
It's already available for pre-order. The digital version of the core book, which will include how to make your own character and 30 chimera, which are shit that's going to try to eat your face.
Nom, 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 nom.
And,
why do you do this, Mumsy?
And books on and how to create your basic demi-fauna character. It's available now for pre-order for like 20 USD. I don't know what that converts to in Britain money, but
It's round about 16, 17 quid.
right.
Maybe a bit less than that.
Right. The hardback version of the core book, which is also technically a bestiary, is around 50 USD, and the one signed by the devs is 80 USD. I pre-ordered mine already. Which date in August? I don't have a date. I just know in August. Birthday's the 30th. It's probably going to be out before the 30th. But yeah, despite everything, I do think that given something I have planned, Samarook is going to be is going to get very close to Doween. And I can't wait to see where that goes.
The funny thing is, he's also ran about the same color as his missus as well, which is interesting.
His missus is a tiefling, right?
Yeah. She's a purple tiefling.
Cool.
If I remember correctly, though, I think his leather was a red tiefling. If I remember.
Okay, yep, think I got everything. Doop. Doo doo. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Doo doo. Doo 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 doo. Doo doo doo. All
Very
better.
Pink Panther-esque.
Yep. Oh, you're back. Yep. I'm gonna get the normal paperback because I want the digital version should have it too, I think. There we go. Now, let's... Come on now. Up we go. Now let's just neaten up things. For example...
Right, I'm going to do something that Felix is going to hate, but I'm going to go get myself...
What are you doing?
Be right back. I'm just going to go get myself a Pepsi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back. Still here. Yeah.
Jack. Oh. Not the floor. I'm sorry. Oh no. Oh no.
What did you do?
My wife has mopped the floor. I walked right through it. I've now caused a disturbance in the force. It's what you'd call an upsy doodle.
I'll pray
Or
for
oopsie
I'll pray for your soul.
I literally just heard my wife go, he's gonna need it.
Have fun with that.
Hey,
Hey, Felix.
you're back. Hey,
But yeah,
my lovable friend and also bodyguard. He isn't a childminder, he's a bodyguard.
he's a minder.
Let it dry. I'm sorry. Did you hear that?
The live stream cut for a little bit. Did not notice. Sorry. Did not notice it had cut out. My bad.
So yeah, my wife just literally ran in. I have fixed the floor. No entry. I was like, okay. Had my hands in the air and everything.
And then she left again.
Yeah, she did. She left with the evilest of glares.
There we go. Now, let's just neaten this up on all sides. Yeah.
So how does Felix feel about his political nightmare that he has to deal with on a near daily basis?
The nightmare on legs.
For the penchant with a penchant of irritating Jill. Who Orgil is a dragonborn, but I can't remember what kind of dragonborn he is, unless he's like one of those new minions.
I think he's a red one.
Is he? I thought he was green.
No, that's a different one.
I'm probably thinking of a different character, yeah. What colour are you, Felix?
What scales does the dragonborn...
Oh, he's a copper. He's a copper.
I don't think so.
He says he's a copper dragon.
And according to him, it's just its job.
I am here for the paycheck, not for the excitement that is Samarook.
Samarook, I have made friends, presents them. Cordial. Oh, fuck me.
I have made friends. Great, you have a senile turtle, a sentient slime thing, a very pretty elf that obviously has you tripping up so much that you are absolutely useless. And who else? Tracy's character, I think, is the only other one, isn't it?
There's a tiefling, and then there's the cranky dwarf lady.
Oh yes, and Susan's husband Lars, or Lava as he's known, is playing a very cranky dwarf woman with a Scottish accent, and I love it.
And a big Q sword.
And a giant monster hunter greatsword. It is hilarious and funny.
It hasn't been used yet, but I get the feeling that when it does see the light of day, it's gonna hit like a Mack truck.
Yeah. I will say Samarook is also from like some sort of Amish sort of community. Seeing that giant greatsword rubbed him up the wrong way a little bit, but it's one of those, if it kills something, I'm going to learn to like it very quickly.
Sees it in action. Well done.
It's one of those, I would much rather watch something get hit by it than get hit by it myself. Do you know what? It's a lovely weapon. It's lovely. I'm not dying inside.
Aw. Then we have poor Orgil, who's just like, I have to deal with this. To make matters worse, Doween is the cousin of the Elven representatives. So just like, do you have to rope in anyone even vaguely stressful to me in your shenaniganery?
I think the funny thing is, when Samarook was putting this team together, being the person who deals with people's jobs and whatnot, he wasn't originally planning to have dowry them, but it was just a series of fortunate. Hello?
What just went beep?
That was a car. My wife is going to look out the window now and be like, oh, gossip! I could hear her running to the window. Woo! I must look!
Orgil is a copper dragon born, which is interesting because copper is also British slang for a policeman.
Yeah! Which is hilarious. He's my copper, he is!
Careful, Mums, your accent came out a little bit.
Oh, did it? I'm sorry. It usually comes out when I say certain words like twirl or girl. It's the R's. It really shows up.
So what do you think of this color for the eyes?
Beautiful. Such a great green. I love it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have poor Doween, who's just like, I exist. Hi.
And it's Samarook. Hello, existing.
Him and Orgil later. I know, they're aesthetically pleasing, but can you not? Yeah, it's just I know, you think they're attractive, but stop! I have to watch a bunch of gremlins, Ava. Welcome to the club. And the thing is, Doween's not that much of a gremlin.
No, Darwin is the sweetest, kindest, and somewhat put together person on the group and happens to be a royal guard, and that was the reason why
Cadet.
Samarook chose a royal cadet, which is the reason why Samarook chose them, because he thought it was best to have a royal cadet on the team, but didn't know that Darreen was one. So it was just a happy coincidence. And anyway, he was kind of bewildered by the face. He didn't really look at the garment, so he probably wouldn't have noticed anyway.
Him. Pretty eyeballs.
Oh my god, I could look into those eyes all day. They're talking to me. I should really pay attention. Sorry, what did you say? Pretty butt? I mean pretty face. I mean pretty bait. Butt.
Meanwhile, Dowie's just like... So, as I was saying... Just not acknowledging that it happened. We're just gonna let him be.
It's obvious that he's very, 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 very stressed at this minute.
Also Dowing in the back of his mind, oh dear god, he's worse than my dad's.
He couldn't hide his sexual frustration for anything.
He can't hide that for love or money. You wouldn't be wrong about Ava just welcoming him to the club, but the party is not all gremlins.
No, because the slime seems to be well put together. We have a very cautious tiefling.
Who,
we have
from the last episode we've discovered has been through some shit.
Oh, yeah. Which we're not going to discuss. You're going to have to wait for the episodes for that. We also have a very, I'm just here for a job, Dragonborn, which is the wizard, I think.
Yeah, that's Orgel.
Yeah, I think he's a wizard.
Yeah.
And so far, his magic spells has caused some interesting things to occur so far.
He's a utility caster.
Yeah. He's also into some sort of... I can't remember what it was. But it's very specific research.
Who's playing? Tracy. They play Aslan normally.
Yeah. The tiefling is called... Oh,
Velis.
God. Velis. Yeah, Velis or Veris. Velis. And they are they're a bundle of nerves. They're basically a constantly scared kitty cat, like 25-pound scared kitty cat in a 5-pound bag.
Yeah. Fortunately, some of the party members have proven to be able to calm their nerves a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Though Samarook does try and help. He is just very forward and very in your face about how he's going to help you. So he hasn't really proven to be the best sort of...
He means well, bless him.
Yeah. And he definitely out of party brought them along because he kind of felt bad that they didn't get the bounty money. So that's the reason why he picked them to be a part of this team.
And also, they kind of needed work.
Yeah, and he kind of saw that as a what's the word? Oh, pardon me.
Good lord, man.
Yeah, I know that was a good one. Yeah, no.
Head pats for the scared one.
Yeah, head pats for the scared one and a nice calming tea. Because I kind of like how Dragsbroxus seems to have this whole tea and coffee seems to be the order of the day. Beer comes later.
Or in Pavla's case, it's beer first, coffee and tea later.
Maybe beer added into coffee.
It's like, what are you doing to your coffee? Adulterating
virgin.
it, so it's how I like it. Is that a mug of ale? Yes.
What strength is it? Dwarven. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that Doween is going to be very happy he doesn't drink.
Samarook just turns around to Pavla. I need a drink. It's very strong stuff, though. You'll be revealing secret tips. I don't think so. I have a great constitution. 3 seconds later. So he was the kindest and nicest tiefling.
Meanwhile, poor Doween is just going, time to go to bed. Oh, Bailey's. That is actually what my gran likes.
Bailey's, yeah.
And if that's the strength of that, then, whoo boy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Doween's just like, well, I may not be fond of beer, but elven spirits are nice. Here, try some. Splat! Oh dear.
Medic!
Oh wait, that's me.
Jin's just like, I'm Jin. Yes, Jin, you're Jin.
In the back of poor Doween's head is just, God, what did I do?
I love Jin because that is their catchphrase. I am Jin.
Yeah, and then you have poor Doween who's just like, I didn't mean to give him mild alcohol poisoning, but here we are now.
Samarook has the worst hangover in them. Just like, what did I say?
No, he's just like, well, you saw a tiefling and started just ugly crying.
Oh no.
Describes the tief. It's like, well, you saw this nice tiefling, complexion a bit on the redder side, long tail, small on the horns, and you just started ugly crying. We couldn't get why out of you.
Oh, thank God.
So we just kind of put you to... But then you decided to try my drink and passed out.
Oh yeah, that will do it. What was in it?
Samarook grabs the bottle that his drink was being mixed with. See this number right here?
Yeah.
That's how much alcohol is in this beverage.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the amount of people that would die drinking this at once.
It's not that bad. Yeah, because Elven alcohol, I imagine, is the kind that's distilled for 11 billion years.
Makes sense.
So it's just like, I brought wine. Awesome. 5 seconds later. Okay, why is he unconscious on the floor?
Why is everyone twitching? Ah, yes. What a good night. How many of those you had? I've had 3. How many did everyone else have? A half?
How are you still standing? I grew up drinking this shit. What's the alcohol content of Elven liquor? I have very little experience with alcohol, so I can't really say with any degree of accuracy.
Let's just say most proof that you'll find here in England is 40, maybe. That's the highest you could probably get to.
Meanwhile, well, I suppose the alcohol content depends wholeheartedly on what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting the really pricey Elven liquor, it's probably gonna hit you like a Mack truck, but it doesn't taste like there's alcohol in it.
Mm. It's probably like a scotch or something.
Yeah. So it just looks. It's like
Probably.
It's like Samarook spots Doween's drink. Saw that Doween was handling it fairly well. Figures I should be able to drink that and be just fine. Drink, thud. Oh fuck.
You know you're talking your sleep, right? You were talking about beautiful buttocks. An hour.
And and Samarook's just like, someone, please kill me.
Someone kill me. Maybe give me a hangover cure.
Doween, drink this. Yes, exactly like what the druids at the Tur served. That's actually probably a really good analog.
I was
Like
about
that
to.
homemade,
Yeah.
that homemade berry wine. It's just, I get the feeling anybody who drank that would be just knocked right on their ass.
Well, Spyro was able to handle it for about a minute and a half. Get a good lute solo out. And I mean a really good lute solo.
That
was
passed
the
out.
best. It basically went to his head. It was one of those, yeah!
I'm awesome!
Boy, I feel a bit dizzy.
Oh no.
I feel a bit dizzy. I better sit down for a second. Oh, do you know what? I might just rest my... Ava. Splat.
Ava, you know, I've gone drinking with some of my friends before. I've handled it pretty well. I mean, I handled drinks with Arania pretty well, and she put satyrs under the table, so this should be fine. Thud.
I think the only thing that Tucker said in that moment, lay off the satyr, he's married. Which I'm very happy they clarified, because, oh boy, Spyro waking up in the arms of another woman, oh boy, that would have been...
He'd have been panicking more than he already was.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about Spyro is that he's got a 20 in charisma.
And
so
we have a running gag about what that means.
Let's just say socially awkward but big dick energy. Just there you go.
Meanwhile, poor Doween's just sitting here going, okay, I'm at a party, I can relax a little bit, and where'd my drink go?
Yoink! I'll go get another one. Smash! What happened? I think Samarook tried to take another person's drink. Son of a!
And he's now unconscious. He brought this on himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go get him. Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. Not technically mine, but I borrowed him for the evening. Orgel!
Orgel just walks in, sees the heap on the floor that is Samarook. Just, I wonder how they would react.
It's just, well, off to bed with ye. How bad was that berry liquor you got? Well, Ava did get a nat 1. That's why she passed out.
I think Spyro got like a 7, I think.
He did.
It was a low roll. It just wasn't as bad.
Yeah, he did marginally better than Ava. Next morning, Ava's just like, I can never tell my squad mates.
Yeah, you go, I will never tell my squad mates. My guy immediately believes that with just druid in
And is horrified because he has a wife.
She immediately hit him over the head with a cane, I think.
Yes, berry wine was fantastic for Tauros. Tauros finally got laid.
You could say he did his own kind of bricklaying.
Bad mumsy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he only downed 2 classes, to be fair.
But yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that, the Ava the next morning was just like, I am not telling a soul about any of this. Also, I feel like utter garbage. Yes, because minor.
And then Takas did a little bit of a wooing himself.
Takis went and visited his Takis went and visited his fishwoman girlfriend.
Yeah.
They had a good chat. It was adorable.
Yeah, they did. And then he went fishing.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Or deep sea diving, whichever one you wanted to go with.
Mumsy.
I'm sorry.
Anything Felix visits upon you, Okay, so Takis, romantically speaking, is a complicated beast.
Kind of, but kind of not. It was more the lines of he had his first love, kicked out of a town, said that he would go in and rescue her, kind of got depressed, found the druids of the Attire, basically started to have feelings for another woman, basically, but he really didn't pursue it as much. It was more on the lines of...
The best, according to Felix, Takis is pansexual and polyromantic, which means he can develop sexual attraction for anybody, and is at his most comfortable in a romantic relationship where he has multiple partners. At least that's how it's configured itself in my head.
Yeah. I have to admit, I still can't get over this blending tool. It is just
You mean the blur?
best.
You mean my blur
tool? Yeah, it's just un caliente. I know I butchered that big time, and it probably means something a lot worse than I thought it did.
Oh god. Okay, so in Spanish, there are two words words have a lot of meanings.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, that seems to be how Takis is as a person. Now, what colors should I make this boy's clothes?
Oh, it just means they're hot.
Yeah. Now, for the bandages on his training garb, I imagine kind of like a cream, sort of like beigey color.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'd say that he's probably had those wrappings for a short...
They haven't gotten filthy yet.
Yeah. He hasn't done much training since leaving.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Daween's been doing a lot of training since he only just left home.
Mm-hmm.
But he has missed his favorite pair of sparring partners in his cousins.
Mm. Which is why they probably went over to visit.
Well, and they also had gifts.
That's true.
And he does still have some of those, have a box of those sweetbreads in his backpack.
Mm.
He made them himself, and he's very proud of that fact.
Aww. That's cute.
Yeah, Daween is just a very wholesome, good-hearted person.
Mm-hmm.
He does not hesitate when he sees that violence is a necessity, but he is, at his core, a very good person.
Mm-hmm. Samarook is a very passionate and somewhat good-willed person that sometimes come off as a little bit of a liability in terms of the constant watchful eyes of others that is needed to keep him under control.
Yeah. Fortunately, I get the feeling we're going to have an excuse to take you out of the city for a bit.
Yeah, the only problem that I'm going to have with that is what will the town do without him?
Or at the very least, what will his district be doing without him?
Especially with a certain councillor still breathing down his neck. Ugh.
Especially with that prick running around.
Yeah, Samarook doesn't get on. He understands
Where the man
he's
is
coming
from, but he doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I don't think Daween would like him either.
Yeah, basically he just represents the Triton's enemies.
Yeah.
But he has no qualms with them as a people. He just has qualms with
this one dude in particular.
Yeah. The constant belligerence of this person against him and anything that he tries to do.
Right.
I will say, like Samarook's wife, he kind of wants Mapleshire to thrive in the best way possible. And Samarook is always willing to compromise, but he's not going to compromise if it puts his people in a worse situation than they were, basically.
He's willing to compromise unless it puts his people in a worse position than they're starting.
Yeah. Especially since the district has only really started to take shape.
Everything is still forming.
Mm-hmm. he is going to have to restructure a few things, but it's for the better at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, there will be people in the party who have his back. For example, Doween. Doween can put in a word with his cousins on the matter.
Mm-hmm. There is one thing about the most recent session, though, that I really talk to Kai about, because my theory brain did think of something.
Oh. To avoid spoilers, write it down and send it to me.
Mm-hmm.
We can discuss after the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good lord, it's almost 1. We may have to make this a 2-parter.
Okay.
Hope you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's sure. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
I think I'm gonna finish this set of hand wrappings and call it.
Yeah, that's fair.
There we go. Okay, he's starting to take shape.
Mm.
Save as. Sci file. There we go. Thank you all very much for stopping by, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.